So good evening, guys, everyone. Right. Online participants, good evening. Yeah, very good evening, Alim, Soumya. So any doubts, guys, from the last session? No. So attended through online mode, majority of the students. Online. Okay. Right. So no doubts. Okay. So if no doubts are there, let's try to proceed with today's session. So what is the topic that we discussed earlier? Let's tuple set dictionary. 4 topics completed. I haven't started with the topic conditionals, I guess, right? Resume building session, right? Fine. So today let's try to go with conditionals and then we'll proceed with loops. Acha, by the way, how many of you updated your resume? Okay. Done? Oh, but okay. Okay. Online participants, how many of you updated your resume? Hmm. Hmm. Time to time you need to update. Based on job description. See, projects, I'll be providing you with one website. First, go to Kaggle website. In Kaggle itself, you are having all the list of projects available, data sets available, everything. Just pick any data set and just start working with it. Analytics part. Whatever the data set that you are having, just try to import the data set and then just start working on some conditionals. That's it. Based upon that requirement, whatever the analytics you want to do, you can do, perform. Hmm? Mentors will be there. They'll help you out. Once you can connect them and they'll help you out. So today, let's try to proceed with a new topic called conditionals. Again, it's a very interesting topic, a very useful topic altogether. So let's try to understand how to utilize this and how to work with loops also. Till today, we discussed about data types available in Python, and then we discussed about data structures available. So when we are referring with the concept data structures, we are having 4 data structures available. What are those 4 data structures? List, tuple, set, dictionary. In case if you want to add some data in a list format, you can go with list. In case you want to add some data, tuple, you can add some data in tuple. List itself is something utilized with square brackets. Tuple itself is something utilized with rounded parentheses. Set as well as dictionary, these both you can utilize it with a concept curly braces. So based on the requirement, we just need to select any option, list or tuple or set or dictionary, and we can store the data. As we discussed earlier, when you're working with a concept list, the data that you are going to provide, it's mutable. You can do some changes. If you are proceeding with a concept called tuple, it's immutable. You can't edit, you cannot play with all these remaining options directly. Set, unique values have been provided. In case if any duplicates have been provided, it will exclude the duplicate records. And set, it will try to include those values with key value pair combination. Whatever the key value pair combination itself is there, in that same way, data itself has been distributed. And this is how the 4 data structures have been created: list, tuple, set, as well as dictionary. And we even discussed what are the different types of data types available. int, and we discussed about float, there itself string object, and there are different data types, date, date time. So once all these topics are there, we are having one more important topic called conditionals. See, anyone remember there is a topic that we discussed called case when statements in SQL? What exactly this case when statements are? Conditions. Case when then. Case when then. Case when then. When this is a scenario, then this is the answer. Scenario based. Case when statements. There you are going to categorize the data based upon some condition only, right? And here also we are going to do the same thing. Conditionals. When you are working with conditionals, here we are having something called if, elif, else. Here you will be having something called if, elif, else statements. First thing first, you will be considering a variable called number, and inside this number you are going to provide a value called int. You're going to typecast it int. As we earlier discussed, directly if you are taking a float value, directly if you are taking input value, that input value has been regarded as string. But in case if you are going to take a value by int, whatever the value that you are going to take, that value itself has been provided based upon number, numeric format. And now you are going to pick a condition. If number greater than 0, number is positive. Always remember the first condition itself is been provided with if. If number is greater than 0. What is number? Number itself is nothing but the variable name that you are declaring. Number itself is nothing but the variable that you are going to declare with. So number equals to, you are going to take an int of input value. If that particular input value is greater than 0, I just want to print it as a message, number is positive. In case if the input value is something less than 0, I need to provide it with message number is negative. If in case both the two conditions are not satisfying, print the message number is 0. Whatever the input value that you are considering, if that input value is greater than 0, print number is positive. In case if the number that you are taking as an input value is less than 0, that number itself is negative. Else, if the above two conditions are not satisfied, the requirement, then just go with this option called else. Print number is 0. Simple. For the first condition, you will be going with if, and the second condition, you will be going with elif. Remember, elif is something you can utilize it for a number of times. If only one time, elif multiple times. If you want to utilize the condition for 4 to 5 times, utilize elif for 4 to 5 times. And then finally, if you want to go with something called else, just else. If is something you need to utilize it for the first time. Elif, based upon your requirement, you need to utilize it for 3 times or 4 times. How many conditions are there? That many times you need to provide elif. If only one time, else only one time. Elif, based upon your requirement, you can go with that approach. And finally, if all the above conditions are not satisfied, then you're just going with this option called else. That's it. Clear? Just try to execute this and just take a value. In case if you are taking a value called 50, and what is the message that we are getting? Number is positive. In case if the number itself is 0, number is 0. in case if the number that you're providing is something minus 30, number is negative. So based on the number that you're providing, you'll be getting what is the status of this number. Number is positive or negative, or what exactly is it? You'll get that idea. Hmm? Sorry? End. No, not required. Directly you can go with else. That's it. So just check this out. Greater than 0, number is positive. Less than 0, number is negative. Else, number is 0. Tuple, tuple. Right, Ajay? Done, completed. Now, try to take one more approach try to take an input value of student marks. Okay, try to take student marks and try to take grade, try to segregate based upon grade. So for example, try to take student marks. Student will provide, this is the marks. So for example, 85, 90, some mark will be provided. Based upon that, segment them based on grades. 90 plus O, outstanding. 80 to 90 marks, A plus. 80 to 70, sorry, the below range, A, B plus, B, fail, something, segment conditions and try to take an input value and provide it directly. Okay. Done. Now, see, the question itself is very simple. Try to take an input value from student. That is nothing but student marks. And based upon that student marks, try to categorize it. If the marks greater than 90, provide one grade. 80 to 90, provide another grade. 70 to 80, provide another grade. Based upon marks, try to provide a grade case. That's it. Simple. Done. So this is the type of syntax that you can refer, guys. I'm taking marks, integer. If marks greater than equals to 90, print grade A. If marks greater than equals to 80, print some other grade. Instead, marks greater than equals to 70, print another grade. So everyone getting the same output? Indentation error, in the sense, what usually happens is, if you're working with if, elif, elif, once you are utilizing condition, you'll provide semicolon, sorry, colon, right? Whenever you are trying to put any code next line to that if or elif, you need to add some space, guys. This space itself, we consider it as indentation. If you are not providing this indentation, you will get an indentation error. Okay. Simple thing. Whenever you are working with if, elif, else, any statements, after providing colon, in the next line, you need to take some space. By default, Python code itself will add some space and it will start writing. No need to do. But in case if try to have some space. If space is not provided, that is, we call it as indentation error. Just check this out, guys. Everyone try to utilize the same syntax. Hmm? Between and. Yeah, those are with operators again we need to do. Operators we can. Now try to take one more question. Try to take three input values. Whenever we are talking about triangle, we are having three sides in it. Right? For a triangle, we'll be having three sides. I hope you know what equilateral triangle is. Equilateral triangle is nothing but all three sides are equal. Now, try to take three input values of all the three lengths of a triangle. Try to take lengths of all the three sides of a triangle, and then try to compare whether all these three sides are same or not. In case if all these three sides are same, mention it as equilateral triangle. If in case all these three sides are not equal, mention it as non-equilateral triangle. Clear? Try to take three input values. These three input values are nothing but three sides of a triangle. And try to provide two conditions. If all three sides are equal, print equilateral triangle. If all three sides are not equal, print not equilateral triangle. When you are working with equals to operator in Python, utilize double equals to, not single equals to. Let's check this out. completed? You utilize double equals to. This is the syntax that you can take a reference, guys, again. For A, which is one side, I'm taking length. B, I'm taking one more length. C, I'm going to take a length again. In case if A equals to B equals to C, just you need to print a message called equilateral triangle. Else, simply print a message stating that it's not an equilateral triangle. Hmm? Valid? Maybe provided some indentation kind of error. Let's check that out. So everyone just try to complete this. Okay. Okay, I need to wait. Make it fast, guys. This is the syntax. Yes, it is already completed. Others are doing the task. That is the reason we are waiting. Done, guys, everyone? Right. So let's go with one more important concept called loops. Again, it's a little interesting topic. This is something a useful topic. You can integrate loops concept with conditionals. We discussed about the same concept loop in SQL also, if you remember. Stored procedures. So what is loop? If you want to do the same process repeatedly, you can utilize this concept called loop. You're having two variations in it, finite, infinite. Their finite loop itself is nothing but after successive iterations, you're just coming out of it and you can end the process. Infinite loop is something like for infinite times, you are going to execute the code. Finite, infinite. When you are working with finite loop, after successive iterations, you're just coming out of it. After 4 or 5 iterations, you're just coming out of it. When you are going with infinite loop, there is no such thing like you are going to end the process. There is no such thing like end point. You're just going to execute. You're just going to iterate it for a number of times. That's it. Now, try to consider how to work with this looping pattern, for loop and while loop. I'll take a range of values in a list a equals to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. For I in A, print I. Okay. A equals to, I'm providing a list. Inside that list, I'm providing 5 values, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now, for I in A, for I in A in the sense, see, you are utilizing a loop concept called for loop. Basically, when you are working with loops concept, you are having two different types of loops. The first loop, we consider it as for loop, and the other loop, we consider it as infinite loop. When you are working with finite loop, you can execute it for finite times. For loop is nothing but finite. And while loop is something that you can utilize it for infinite times. If you are working with for loop, what usually happens is you are going to take some numbers. For the finite range, you can take that value into consideration and you are working with loop. So for example, you are having list, guys. Here you are having a list. How many values have been there? You know where exactly you are going to stop at the maximum number. If you are working with tuple, there also some points have been provided. 4 or 5 points have been provided. If you are working with something called set or dictionary, there also values are going to be provided. 5 values or 10 values, some values have been provided. If the range itself is not going to fix, then go with while loop. If you are going with list or tuple or set or dictionary or any data structure available, you're having a maximum number. You're having an end point. Why? Because you're opening the parenthesis is nothing but somewhere you're going to end the parenthesis. If you're opening the braces, it's nothing but you're going to close the braces also. Yes. Now the same thing that we are going to do here also. In case if you're opening the parenthesis, you need to close the parenthesis in the sense automatically the data itself is been divided. Now, automatically what usually happens? For is a type of loop that I'm utilizing it for finite purpose. For in, for I in A. There is a data structure called A, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and I'm just utilizing an iterator I inside a list A. Print I. I is nothing but iterator. Every successive time you are going to iterate the number. First, it will try to execute 10, and then it will try to execute 20, then it will try to execute 30, then 40, then 50. and just try to execute. You are going to iterate it for multiple times and you'll get all these 5 numbers: 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Here I'm having one more list B, and here I'm having 4 data points, guys. 2 strings are there, 2 numbers have been provided. And here itself, I'll try to provide a loop for I in B. First, it will try to print A, then it will try to print B. See, you're getting the same values here. A, B, then it will print 25, 25, and then you'll print 876, 876. Here, I'm introducing you with one more functionality called range function also. What does this range function mean? It will try to take consideration of min to max range. So for example, if you are going to execute this code for I in range 1, 11, print I. Range is nothing but you need to provide what is the minimum value and what is the maximum value. For I in range 1, 11 is nothing but between this particular range, whatever the values are been provided, fetch that values. I'm providing here range of 1, 11. But here you are getting something called 1 till 10. What happened to that 11? That 11th value will not be provided. What usually happens is the maximum value minus 1. So for example, if you are taking consideration of 1, you'll get that value. Fine. But here 11 minus 1 is the output that you are going to get. 1, 11. What usually happens is if you are providing 1, 11, you'll get all the values starting from 1 till 10. If you are providing something called 1, 21, what usually happens here is you will be getting all the data points starting from 1 till 20. If you are providing something called 1, 23, now you will be getting from 1 till 22. The last number minus 1, you will get that range functionality. Clear, guys? Okay, just give it a try. For loop. So just based upon this, I'll be giving you 2-3 questions again. You need to solve it. So first thing first, just try to complete this and I'll give you some questions. Now, the question is, utilizing for loop, you need to fetch first five even numbers. What are the first five even numbers? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now I want first five even numbers. Question is clear? I'll provide the question in the chat, guys, online participants. Syntax. Okay, right, Anusha. This is something okay, Soumya. But I'm asking you man automatic approach. Here we are manually providing values and you're just printing it, right? What I meant to say is with the help of range functionality, do it. Done. Now try to fetch first 10 odd numbers. Just you need to utilize your interchange the symbol. That's it. Okay, good. See, if you are going to take a consideration of first 5 or 10 even numbers, if in case I want first 10 even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Now what you're going to do for I in range 1, comma 21. 1 is the minimum, 21 is the maximum value. 1, comma 21, starting from 1 till 21. Now provide something called semicolon, and here if I percentile 2 double equals to 0. Okay, if I percentile 2 double equals to 0. I in the sense iterator. See, 1 divided by 2 is equals to 0. No. The remainder part, no. 2 by 2, yes. 3 by 2, no. 4 by 2, yes. 5 by 2, no. 6 by 2, again, yes. Like that, you are trying to take a range of values starting from 1 till 21. Starting from 1 till 21. Now, between this range of values 1 till 21, you are getting a range, and if this condition itself has been satisfying, the remainder output 0, print I. Automatically you'll get that value, and that is how it works. First 10 even numbers. If I want first 30 even numbers, instead of 1 comma 21, I'll try to provide something called 1 comma 31 and just execute the code. You'll get these values. For I in range 1 comma 30, in case I want to get odd numbers in the same way, first 15 odd numbers I want. For I in range 1 comma 30, if I percentile to not equals to, if you're providing equals to, you'll get even numbers. If you're providing not equals to, automatically you'll get odd numbers. Simply you can utilize. If you only want to get top 5, again you need to adjust it based on range. You can even do the same thing with step size also, guys. Step. What I mean to say step is, if you're providing something called 1 comma 30, 1 till 30, you'll get all the values. But in case just after 1 comma 30, you are providing a step size of 2, you'll get something like every alternate number you'll get. Okay. In case if you are selecting something called 30. Say for example, in case you are selecting something called 35, based upon your requirement, you are just going to consider a value. Okay. Depending upon your requirement, you need to select 2 or 3 or 4. So just try to take one more problem statement with range and try to take a step size every alternate number. I try to fetch every one alternative number like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Provided alternate numbers. Right. Simple thing, when you are taking consideration of this particular code, A equals to try to provide an iterator, anything. The same thing, okay, let me explain you with the same approach with while loop also. In that, I'll try to showcase. For loop is clear, everyone. For loop is something that you need to utilize if in case you are working with any data structure that you're dealing with. Finite numbers have been already provided. Like you're having, see, usually if you're opening any parenthesis for any data structure, you need to close it. That is for sure. Without closing, data structure is not going to be completed. Yes or no? If you're closing the parenthesis in the sense, there is an ending point. If you are having an ending point itself is nothing but that is a finite loop. better go with for loop, range of values provided. But in case, if you don't know where exactly you are going to stop, you don't know what exactly is the limit, the maximum limit, where you are going to stop, how many values have been there, you don't know, then consider proceeding with while loop. While loop itself is something you are going to iterate it for multiple times. Infinite loop. So what usually happens is you're not having any ending point value. You're not having any range, nothing. You're just taking an iterator and you're going to print based upon while condition. In Python, you're having only two loops, for loop and while loop. Remember, for is with range, while in case if you're not having range and you don't know where exactly the ending point is, go with this while loop. Take a consideration that you are having a value I equals to 1. I equals to 1. I equals to 1 is nothing but again it is a iterator, counter. Assume that it is a counter, starting point. I equals to 1. While I less than or equals to 5, print I. While I less than or equals to 5, print I. Every time you are going to print iterator I, increment it with one position. Clear? Whenever you are going to take a variable value I equals to 1 and you are going to consider while loop, while I less than or equals to 5, print I. I equals to I plus 1. That means what is the first value? Iterated default value 1. Here you are providing a condition I less than or equals to 5. Is 1 less than or equals to 5? I need to print 1. Again, it will execute this code. I equals to I plus 1. 1 equals to 1 plus 1. What is updated I value now? Is 2 less than or equals to 5? It will print that value. 2 equals to 2 plus 1. 3. Is 3 less than equals to 5? Yes. Again, it will print that value. Like that, 5. 5 less than 5 equals to 5 plus 1. What is the value you'll be getting? 6. Is 6 less than or equals to 5? No. If 6 less than, if it is not less than or equals to 5, automatically that code will not work. Iterator itself is going to stop working. So that is nothing but these values have been provided here. In the same way, here you are working with this concept. I equals to 2, while I less than or equals to 10, print I. Instead of utilizing iterator I equals to I plus 1, I'm utilizing I equals to I plus 2. Instead of incrementing it with only one value, increment it with two values. What usually happens? What is the by default value, guys? 2, right? 2. 2 equals to 2 plus 2. What is the value? 4. 4 equals to 4 plus 2. 6. 6 equals to 6 plus 2. 8. 8 equals to 8 plus 2. 10. Is 10 equals to 10? That means you'll be getting 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. These are nothing but first 5 even numbers only, right? Again, that means instead of utilizing for loop in that way with a range functionality, here also you can do in this way, just by incrementing a value. See, by default incrementing value plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. If I'll increment it value with plus 2, even number. That is the reason you are taking default value as even number 2. For the default value even number 2, you are incrementing two values every time. I equals to I plus 2. Automatically 2 equals to 2 plus 2 4. 4 equals to 4 plus 2 6. 6 equals to 6 plus 2 8. 8 equals to 8 plus 2 10. Like that you are going to increment a value. That's it. As simple as it. Clear, guys, everyone? In range, if you want to get every alternative number, again, same calculation. For I equals to, for I in range 1 comma 10 comma 2, every second value you'll get. Okay, based upon step size. Hmm. 1 comma, say for example, 30. That means 1 comma 29 comma 2. What usually happens? Every second value you'll get that till 30th value. Clear? So just check this out while loop. In the same way, try to fetch first 15 odd numbers, the same syntax, first 15 odd numbers, but utilized it with for loop, right? Now try to get it done with the help of while loop. First 15 odd numbers. Then good. First 15 odd numbers. Everyone completed? Right. Online participants, clear with the concept? Okay, good. Yeah, welcome, Alam. Right. So what about others? Everyone clear with the concept, guys? Okay, great. So try to practice this, guys. Okay, we need to practice a lot in Python, trust me. Something similar to SQL. Power BI, Tableau, these are the tools where drag and drop features, if you know the basic understanding, it's fine. But especially when you're working with SQL or Python, you need to practice a lot, guys. Practice, practice, practice. Okay. So we'll try to take some other case studies. We'll try to integrate all these things and we'll work with those things again. Okay. So most probably Again, tomorrow we'll touch up with some other topics available, and then we'll be proceeding with data analytics with Python. There, the actual subject comes into picture. What are the topics that we are trying to learn now? These are the just topics that we are trying to learn so that we can able to understand the syntax of Python. That's it. This is something you're not going to do in the actual work. The entire work itself is you are going to do integrate it with a library called pandas, matplotlib, cbon, and numpy. So those libraries we are going to start working with from most probably tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Why? Because we are not going to fetch any even numbers or odd numbers, nothing. Just to understand the syntax, we're just playing with these problem statements. The actual work is mainly inclined towards pandas data frame only. And that is what we are going to do. Why? Because pandas data frame is nothing but it's a table structure. End of the day, as a data analyst or a business analyst, you are working with table data. And whatever the table data that you are working with, entire thing that you can able to get here with the help of the same concept. Clear? Right. So, yeah, sure, Samya. This file I already provided, I guess. Whether this file I provided, guys, day one in your classroom, in that you'll be having the same topic, loops, conditionals. Let's check that out. Okay. So, okay, then, guys, let's try to connect again tomorrow and let's try to learn new functionalities and libraries in Python. Okay. Yeah, I'll provide it, Atul. Okay. And instead of writing 24 for I in range and comma 30 print odd number. Yes, you can even do in that way, Tanya. Yes, anything. That is what I meant to say. For loop is even simple comparing with while loop. Okay. So, okay then, guys, everyone. Let's connect tomorrow again. Okay. Right. Bye, guys. Good night. Yeah, good night, guys, everyone.